Greetings and welcome. It does indeed look like we are broadcasting. Bear with me one second. YouTube is a little slow on the uptake. Greetings and welcome to SEM Mondays, which of course, I hope you know, is short for Source Energy Medicine Mondays. As you come on in, if you can see me and hear me, please give me a thumbs up or shoot an emoji. And I am super grateful for this time to connect virtually and from the safety of our own home. Happy to answer any questions that you have for me. The first part of our show is expanded. Well, the whole show is expanded pretty much, but we'll do some Q&A for about the first 10 minutes and then segue into a group non-material source energy medicine session, which is an energy healing session. Or an energy healing modality that's part of source energy medicine. So it does look like we are going, in spite of some serious wonky technical stuff on my end. Other than a few psychics, no one saw COVID-19 coming, including me. And I'm really, really grateful to Source Energy Medicine, right? That we each have a way of being able to heal ourselves naturally, right? Without any side effects. And I'm committed to helping every sentient being on this planet to heal themselves. And I know that if I am to come anywhere close to achieving that goal, then Source Energy Medicine has to be for free. Available for free, Source Energy Medicine technology. And that's not the way we started in 2004, but it was a slow transition. And we have been sharing Source Energy Medicine open and freely for years and years. And we keep getting better at how we share it, right? The latest iteration of the Source Energy Medicine Quick Start Guide, I think, is a pretty fantastic way of sharing everything that's essential to your journey with Source Energy Medicine in a place that you know where everything is. It's all extremely well organized, well produced, thanks to Milo, who does most of my tech. And then we have SEM Mondays as a way to come together every Monday, so you can get questions live and in real time. And if you are new to Source Energy Medicine, my gosh, this is such an amazing time. I think back at when I first started sharing Source Energy Medicine for free. It was not easy on your end. I mean, it was not easy on my end either, but it was really quite a clunky way of being able to do all of this. And now, thanks to technology and things getting more and more affordable and more accessible, we're able to do things like this, which not that long ago we couldn't do, right? So, so the first 10 minutes or so, we'll have a chance to answer questions, anything that you would like to know about Source Energy Medicine, or, health, well-being in general, COVID-19, whatever is the topic of the day. I have a couple of really good questions that came in by email, and I'll do my best to share that time with folks that are live, and the questions that came in by email. And if you're watching this in replay, which an awful lot of people do, you can always scroll down and leave your questions in the comments below this player, and I'll do my best to answer as many questions as possible. I always do my best to answer as many questions as possible. So, and certainly, liking and subscribing and sharing this with anyone that you know who might be open and curious about Source Energy Medicine, curious about a safe, effective, natural way of being able to explore self-healing. And subscribing to this channel is definitely one of the best ways that I can continue to support you easily. And don't forget the cool little bell icon. If you click that bell icon, then YouTube will actually let you know when I'm live. You don't have to worry about putting it in your calendar, setting things like that. So, because things are a little wonky on my end, I'm gonna apologize one last time, and I'll do my best to make sure that we are still broadcasting, and I'll keep an eye on the chat and cover as much of what I'm able to cover in terms of questions with you folks live. So this question came in from someone from Australia, who says, "Hi, Stephen. I will be watching the replay. I'm in Australia, looking forward to another healing session. I love them. Could you please advise me regarding vision and glaucoma? What would be appropriate? I'm in step 4 of the Source-Energy-Medicine sample protocol." And, it's interesting because, well, before I get into this and really directly answer this question, it's important for me to mention that in general, I don't answer a lot of this type of question, meaning, what do I suggest for this challenge, or what do I suggest for that challenge? And the reason why I don't is because most people who, regardless of their challenges or how long the challenges have been in manifestation or being experienced, most people who simply follow the Source-Energy-Medicine sample protocol and use logic to add individual transformation Source-Energy medicines in at appropriate times have phenomenal success, right? So the reason why is in part the Source-Energy-Medicine sample protocol, which is included in the Quick Start Guide. Source-Energy-Medicine's approach to healing is very universal, and it's very wide-reaching, right? We are not just looking at symptomatology and trying to just help with that. We're looking at the underlying true, with a capital T, root causes of all dis-ease, all imbalance, all areas of lack that you could ever possibly experience. So because we're approaching healing from that perspective and not just chasing pathogens or chasing dis-ease or looking at a particular organ or function or system, but we're looking at a very holistic approach to healing. Because we're doing that, then a lot of people don't even add individual transformation Source-Energy medicines, and yet for a lot of people they're helpful. So if you're not familiar with the sample protocol, you're probably not familiar with the Source-Energy-Medicine Quick Start Guide. I'll include a link below in the description to this live with the link, so you can sign up for the free Quick Start Guide. And if you are familiar with the Quick Start Guide and you are familiar with the sample protocol, but maybe you have questions about when to add individual transformations and how do you know which ones, if you go to our YouTube channel, if you're on our YouTube channel, you can actually search videos that are just on our channel, right? That are not on YouTube in general. They're on YouTube, but they are on the Source-Energy-Medicine YouTube channel. If you just search for Source-Energy-Medicine sample protocol, you'll see 4 or 5 different videos where I talk about that, and from a couple of different perspectives. Each one I think would be really, really helpful in helping to decide when to add individual Source-Energy medicines and which one. So I chose this question because it's interesting to me in that some of the pieces that are part of what would attribute or what would contribute to vision challenges, and specifically glaucoma, might not be so logical or as logical as others. So might not be logical to this person, and certainly might not be logical to you. So there are things like calcification to consider, right? You don't think of if I try and put myself in somebody else's shoes, I might not think that calcification might be part of that challenge, and yet it is. So we have a Source-Energy medicine that is great for all forms of calcification, except it's not calcification transformation. It's actually stone transformation, which is a type of calcification. So here's one area where logic is going to be, a little bit challenging for you, in that you might not make the connection unless you've taken our online courses. You might not make the connection between calcification and stone transformation. And another one that could be a contributing factor is circulation, right, or impaired circulation. So I think of T24 blood clot transformation as one that they're two very wide-reaching. If you read the description in my book, Heal Thyself, about blood clot transformation, it would make more sense. But if you're just looking at this list for what would be the most helpful, might not jump out at you. Certainly T21 vision impairment transformation, I hope that is one that would likely pop out at you, right? That would likely stand out. T19 lymph blockage transformation. Our lymphatic system, similar to the circulation logic, our lymphatic system is like a waste treatment system, if you will, and very often a blocked or a depleted or an impaired lymphatic system can lead to vision challenges. So there are a lot of different ways that you can look at this, but going back to my original comment about we're looking at the underlying root causes of all dis-ease. If you think about it, when this person started, very, 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 very high likelihood that their overall energy level was below 200. Certainly the physical aspect of their energy level was calibrated below 200. So this person's in step 4 of the sample protocol, which means likely they're close, if not in the ballpark of their ideal energy level. So any challenge when the physical aspect specifically is calibrated below 200 will be experienced one way, and at an energy level above 200 will be experienced in another way. And to a large degree, the healing process, even without taking anything individual for any challenge or anything specific for any challenge, that challenge is already dismantling because there's no longer the vibrational roots that instigated that challenge to begin with. So I hope that makes sense. And of course, the other things to consider is by step 4 of the sample protocol, the subconscious mind is already transformed, and that is, from my perspective, the biggest game changer, regardless of what the goals are in terms of healing. So I hope that makes sense. And again, unless you've taken our fundamentals workshops, like that kind of logic would not make sense to you, perhaps. And if it does, I'm impressed. But I thought I would share that not only to help this person directly, but vision is one of those things that I think collectively as a species, right, humans buy into the belief that as the physical body ages, vision is decreased, right, or fails us eventually, right? It starts to, it's progressive in nature, right? Starts to get worse, gets more complicated. Have to go back regularly for prescription updates. I don't mention it very often, but before Source Energy Medicine, I wore glasses. They're for distance and not very strong, but I started wearing them in 1979, which is a while ago, and I stopped wearing them in 2004, maybe early 2005. So I never took any of the individual specific, the vision transformation or any of the anything really to help with that challenge, other than all of the Source Energy medicines that are now in the sample protocol. And I have heard from numerous people who would say the same thing, right? They used to wear glasses, no longer do. I've had a lot of experience with people in the non-material aspect of Source Energy Medicine, the energy healing work that we're about to segue into. Folks who had vision challenges, some extreme vision challenges. Some folks had eye surgery scheduled and were able to not do that, right? They were able to reschedule the surgery or cancel the surgery. So, which to me is, such a blessing, such a gift. I don't buy into that as I don't even buy into as the physical body aging, right? I think the way that we age as humans is a dis-ease, and part of I think a positive side benefit of source energy medicine is we're slowing and reversing what we know as aging, so that the physical form is more, I think, biologically or physiologically age appropriate with our birth certificate. So it's interesting because there's so many things that are part of aging being rapidly accelerated, and that's a lot of what I talk about in our online workshops. It's a lot of what not a lot of, but I talk about that or write about that in my book, Heal Thyself. So I think it's fascinating to think that there are so many, there's a big thing now with aging gracefully and slowing aging and quality of life and things like that. And I don't know too many people who are calling aging a dis-ease, and there are, again, a lot of things that contribute to not only that paradigm of belief, but to accelerating that process. So it's a little bit, on one hand, like inside. So very often I go back east. I grew up on the East Coast and lived in New York City for 20 years. And, I'll go back and I'll visit with someone I know from high school or college. And, so they're, same birth year as me, might be a couple of months apart, but same birth year. And more often than not, one of their children, one of my friend's children, will say, "How can you two be the same age?" And, it becomes an awkward conversation really quickly. And yet, there's a lot that I've learned over the years, and there's a lot that I certainly could share. So let me just pause here, have a quick sip of water, and see if there are any questions in the chat. Otherwise, we'll get ready to segue into the energy healing session. Thank you for all the hellos and emojis and love that you're sharing here. I appreciate that. So, I don't see any questions in there. Awful lot of people from Canada joining us, which is awesome. I used to spend a lot of time in Canada when I did live workshops, so I certainly have a lot of friends, a lot of connections, a lot of folks exploring source energy medicine in Canada. And there's our friend Carmen saying Buenas tardes from Puerto Rico. Hola, Carmen. It's awesome to have you here with us and see that. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I am so grateful to this technology, grateful to YouTube, right? Carmen's there in beautiful Puerto Rico, and I'm here in Colorado, and we get to connect and share in this virtual community, and have an opportunity to experience some energy healing. So if you are not already familiar with the non-material aspect of source energy medicine, the energy healing modality, there certainly is a video on our YouTube channel that I explain it as well as I possibly could. A few things that I think are really important for you to know. Number one, the work is phenomenally fast. I am going to be very specifically focusing on what will be most helpful for you during this pandemic. You don't need to know what all the technical things are that would help to ensure your health and well-being and safety during all of this. But that's my intention. My intention is to help to help to make sure that if you do understand the technology behind it, help to ensure that your overall energy level, specifically the physical aspect of your being, is calibrated way above 200. And when we're able to achieve that, then things like viruses and bacteria, unfriendly bacteria and dis-ease are not possible. So, and there are other things to destroy. I don't want to get into that, but just know that that's my my intention. And on your end, I encourage you to choose one goal or one challenge, and choose only one, so that you have an opportunity to see what the results are in terms of something measurable or tangible. I think there's massive benefit to re-watching at least the energy healing portion of any of the SEM Mondays live. While they're each unique, They're each different because we create a new morphic field for every one that we do. But if you do watch a replay, you can choose a different goal or a challenge. And that's, I think it's a huge benefit, and especially with regards to our energy level. Maintaining a high energy level is challenging these days, largely because fear and stress and trauma are some of the things that have the strongest negative effect on our overall energy level. Harsh judgments also, and gosh, it's challenging to not, be in a place of harsh judgment these days. But if you knew energetically what harsh judgments did, you would never judge anyone or anything. You would only bless and praise. It really is that extreme and that severe. So I think it's really important for me to mention that within every aspect of source energy medicine, but I think particularly here, because it might look like I am in the role of facilitator, or I am in the role of the healer, and I don't refer to myself in that way. I don't refer to myself as a healer. None of our practitioners do. Primarily because it's inappropriate, it's inaccurate. You are indeed always healing yourself, even in the non-material aspect of source energy medicine, where it looks like, in this case, I am a facilitator. I'm more of a guide, and I'm helping you to remember that which you know, except have forgotten. We're working in the non-physical aspect. We're working in the 0 point field, which is often referred to as the quantum realm. And that's part of the reason why this work is so fast. And there is indeed no order of difficulty. So when you pick your goal or your challenge, you don't have to start with something small necessarily, right? I think our human mortal perspective wants to think that, I'd better start small, otherwise I'm going to be disappointed. And if you don't understand the whole picture on what it is that helps to ensure your success, not only with source energy medicine, but really with life in general, on our YouTube channel, there's a video. It's also in the quick start guide that's all about expectations. And even if you've watched that before, I encourage you to watch that again, because there are a lot of contributing factors that go into what determines how fast I heal, and how much grace and elegance and ease there is, or how slow and difficult and painful and cathartic healing can be. So, I'm committed to doing everything that I can to help to ensure you have positive results as fast as possible, and yet we're always going at your speed, your pace, your tempo. You are indeed healing yourself, and if there are any ceilings or limitations to your experience, in that video I explain what they are and how you could possibly shift that, right? So I think it's amazing that Esther and Jerry Hicks, who impart the teachings of Abraham, they always say that people would have many, many, many more miraculous experiences if they would simply shift out of this order of difficulty thing and realize, it is source energy that is within each of us that is the healer. So from that perspective, the source of all creation, there's nothing that's impossible for the source of all creation. If I think I am the healer, then I'd better have a lot of financial resources and a lot of patience and a lot of time. And that was, my life before source energy medicine. But it's, it is that indeed that energy that beats my heart and digests my food and grows my hair. I don't have to think about doing any of those things if I surrender healing to that energy also, right? Ultimately, to me, part of my practice is surrendering my entire life, right? I always have a hard time saying that, saying my name is Stephen Pollitt, I'm creator of Source Energy Medicine, because in my book, Heal Thyself, I say I'm the co-creator, and I think that's really inaccurate. I really think it is that source energy in me, right, that brought that truth forward, that brought source energy medicine forward. It certainly was that inspired me to share source energy medicine for free. So from that perspective, it's not so much Stephen who created source energy medicine that it is that the divine aspect. And my work, as much as possible, is not to see a human and a divine aspect of Stephen, but to see me through Source's eyes, right? To see myself the way the source of all creation sees me, which is whole and perfect and complete, free of guilt, free of sin, innocent, eternal. And part of the non-material aspect of source energy medicine is to see you in that way also, and that creates this field of potentiality for you to actually step into that possibility. So I'm going to open up the chat for if you have any questions specifically about the energy work that we're about to embark upon. Please type something quickly into the chat. I turn off my camera, so what I'm doing is not visually distracting to you. A minimum of distractions on your end is best. So if you're in a place where it's safe and comfortable and appropriate for you to close your eyes, please do so. And if it's not safe or appropriate or comfortable, please don't. Please use common sense. And again, the work is phenomenally fast. I'll have some chanting music going on in the background just so everyone realizes that there's something still going on. We haven't lost the live stream. And I put up a title slide so that you or someone joins us late, they realize what's going on here. And then we'll come back and I'll do a last call for questions, and then we will say goodbye for now. So I don't see any questions, and there's a lag between when I speak and when you hear. So there's nothing we can do about that. That's YouTube, and in part it's the way they do stuff to be able to censor live streams. But I think part of this is, if you don't understand everything that there is to know about the non-material aspect of source energy medicine, just trust that there is some divine orchestration that led you here. Trust the process. Your job, as much as possible, is simply to allow, which, it's almost like there's no sarcasm in there, and yet it's for a lot of people, certainly was for me, for a lot of my life up until then, not too long ago, allowing was really, 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 really challenging. I was much, 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 much better at giving as serving, as showing up for someone else, and to allow, whether it was a compliment or a gift or other things, right? So as much as possible, just try to allow and just relax and receive. So I don't see any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and set things up on my end. Just continue to breathe comfortably. And as much as possible, think of that goal or that challenge. Think of what it is that you would like to experience in this session. And as much as possible, see it as having been already received, seeing it as unfolding quickly under grace in perfect, divine, and miraculous ways. And as much as possible, see yourself the way I see you. See yourself the way the source of all creation sees you, which I believe is as perfect, whole, complete, eternal, innocent, connected to everyone and everything, and most importantly, completely connected to the source of all creation. Continue to breathe comfortably and naturally, and simply continue to allow and receive. Nice deep breath. Continue to allow. Continue to receive. Continue to experience this work unfolding quickly under grace in divine, perfect, and miraculous ways. I think it's important for you to know that even though this group energy healing session is such a small amount of linear time, if you will, this work will continue to unfold for you. And certainly, as I mentioned, coming back and, fast forwarding to specifically the energy healing part of this live, there's huge benefit to it. And you have the opportunity to choose a different goal, choose a different challenge each time, and re-experience it differently. On an energetic level, especially with regards to your energy level, it is a way of, like hitting the refresh button or the refresh icon on your web browser, or like watching a video and going back and watching it from the beginning again. It's a way of, often when I do that, if I'm watching a video that is technically very complicated, I'll take notes and get a certain understanding my first time through, and when I watch it the second time, often I'm able to make better sense of my notes, and I typically have more notes, right? And I have a deeper level of understanding, a deeper level of experience with that. And that, to a large degree, is the way I at least experience this work. So, yeah. So if you were joining us late or have been here the entire time and did indeed experience that group energy healing session, I'd love to see in the chat, or even if you're watching this in replay, scroll down and leave me a comment. Let me know how this was for you. I always really, it's very inspiring for me to see how this work lands, because we each heal in different and unique and varied ways, right? Because we are so individual, and we have a lot of conscious, unconscious, and subconscious beliefs about healing. That's to a large degree what determines how I experience not only this work, but life in general. So, yeah. And if you have been sitting on a question or you joined late, I'll stick around for a few more minutes and see if there are any questions that pop into the chat. And I'll do my best to answer as many as I can before I have to run. And again, if you're watching this in replay, you can still ask a question. You can simply scroll down and leave your question in the comment box below, and I'll do my best to answer as many questions as possible. And God willing, I'll be back here live next Monday. And between now and then, there are a lot of folks like our friend from Australia who, just time-wise, this doesn't work clearly. You can email questions in advance. You can leave questions anywhere on our YouTube channel. You can leave questions inside the Quick Start Guide, and our website, and pretty much everything these days has live chat available. You can simply click a link and you can live chat. Milo, who I mentioned earlier, who does most of our tech stuff, amazing young man. He does most of our live chat support. And just in all fairness, like, he's like your answer guy, and he's really passionate about source energy medicine. He knows a ton about it, and yet he knows what would be best for him to answer and what would be best for him to maybe not answer. And often he will ask people to join us next week live on YouTube for my SEM Mondays show, where I can answer your question. And he always forwards the thread to me, so I can see the conversation, I can see the concern, the question, and address that in a good way. That's a rare one, but I just want to throw that out. Milo, there certainly is amazing and brilliant and passionate as he is about source energy medicine. I like that he's very sensitive and confident in what's appropriate for him to answer and what might be better for me to answer. So, and it's also a way for him to be able to learn. So Just so you know, I know there's been a lot of questions about our special master class that we produced. That is, the reason why I produced it was because there were so many questions about COVID-19. And honestly, that master class is so much more than just about COVID-19. It's really about all acute conditions. And acute conditions are often described as things that come out of the blue, right? Sudden and rapid onset is the way they're often described. So, even if it was just about COVID-19, I would think, it's still a phenomenal masterclass and well worth the $111 investment. There are a lot of folks who are experiencing temporary financial difficulty challenge because of COVID-19 and the economy